Saber family, guess what? Mezzo is back.
Wait, which direction? This way, this way.
Yeah,
She
yes.
is back.
I
Yay.
have returned. Night Vision, I want to say real quick, I hope you have a better day today that you had last evening. Sending you hugs and love. Yes, and I am feeling better last week. Unfortunately, I got pretty sick and was actually pretty much sick this entire week until last night. I was feeling pretty awful. I actually have I say sick, but a lot of you do know that I have a chronic illness, and we're pretty sure that I have a herniated cervical disc in my neck.
Ouch.
And it really will flare up, and I will basically be at like level 6-7 pain for like 5 days straight.
Oh my god.
And it's not you've spelled my name wrong in your post. Okay. It's not like it's like they can't really do much about it per se, because I do have a deteriorating chronic condition. So I just kind of do my best with it. But even like muscle relaxers aren't helping any longer. But I am feeling good today. I'm so glad today, like first day, finally, I'm feeling so much better. And I was like, I'm so glad I'm feeling better today. Oh gosh, you can control comments again. That's really nice. I had before I went on break, Van's internet was so crappy. He had to use his phone. And I was like, I have to do comments now too. Jeez, Van. So anyway, I'm glad to see your names and I'm glad to be back. Yes, Raph, hi. And I'm so glad you won that Saber. I was there, that I was in the chat that night.
That was crazy. That was crazy. As Raph is like one of our longtime supporters. It was very cool to have Raph finally win. He's been in a lot of raffles and never won.
Over 2,000 subs now on our YouTube channel. So thank you very much. Please continue to share and everything. We will keep giving sabers away. If you also don't know, I'm going to throw it down just below. We do have a Patreon. If you like to help support our time here, please go to Patreon. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. If you do the top 2 tiers, there's actually a special drawing every May 4th event. And you can get like a very nice saber. Jedi Council of America, Mr. Berger says, guess who's in Quebec? I guess he's in Quebec, Canada. I'm guessing that is you.
And we have a special JCA. We were just talking about the special JCA edition coming up.
Yes.
Oh yeah, don't forget. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Sorry, my bad.
I'm just used to it. It's okay.
You were talking about the ultra cool Patreon. We have, if you were in the top tier, family tier, you have a chance at a one of a kind saber. Nobody else on the planet has. The top 2 tiers, you can get a chance at a saber. But at every level, you get cool prizes like hoodies and stickers and all kinds of stuff.
There's a bunch of different stuff. And also, yes, we do have merch. If you don't want to do a Patreon and you just like to buy a shirt to help support us, a sweatshirt, a cup, whatever, you go to kcpmerch.com and you'll actually see some really cool things on there. There's Retro Alcove. I'm wearing the t-shirt right now. Van there's wearing the Retro Alcove shirt. We did not plan on wearing the merch together tonight, but that's just what happened. We have phone cases. My phone case is actually on my shelf down here on the bottom shelf. I actually have my phone case there. And we have books. I have the book. I have your book.
Notebook.
Yes, it's technically your notebook. We have really nice notebooks here. They're lined. So they actually write very nicely. The paper is pretty good.
Water bottles and blankets. Oh my.
Yeah, water bottles and blankets and things. Oh my. That is what we've got. Anyway, all right. So first, guys, haven't done it in so long. Wait, I didn't have my music ready because it's been so long.
And after that, I want to let everybody know about our special event.
Yes.
Nerdy News.
This is the Nerdy News broadcast, not forecast, but anyway. So first,
that would be interesting. I'd like to see that. All right, go ahead.
Catherine Hahn is back as Agatha Harkness. She returns in Agatha All Along. A new trailer just came out. So if you want to check out the link that's in the description, or if you want to check out, I'm going to put it in chat right now. There it is. You can actually watch the new trailer. It's really, really cool. I'm so excited. I love Catherine Hahn. I've loved her ever since God was kind to me. She's great. If you want to also check out New Rockstars, did a breakdown on it. Eric did a breakdown. He's so good at catching every little detail. I'm so excited for this. Last, you guys, if you watched the Marvel Universe, last we saw Agatha was put under a spell by Wanda Maximoff.
Yes,
Scarlet
left
Witch.
in that town.
Left in the town, stuck in her like persona that she had created for the WandaVision TV show. And if you spoilers for Multiverse of Madness, Wanda seemingly dies in the movie, and the question remains: does Agatha remain in the spell or not? Somehow she escapes, and you find out her story, but she doesn't have her powers, and so what's going to happen? So that I'm really, really excited for. Now, Star Wars wise,
wait, I gotta ask, Mez.
Okay,
were you back in the day? Were you a Charmed girl? You seem like the type of girl that would be into Charmed.
No,
Do you have a complicated relationship with that show?
No, it's more like it's so much easier now to be able to see shows in order. That was even like Charmed was when I was watching that, it was before you could have DVR and stuff, so I didn't get to see every single episode. But I did enjoy Charmed. That is true. Yes, I enjoyed Charmed. I can't really tell you much about it now because it's been like 20 years since I've seen an episode. Rest in peace, Shannon Doherty. She just recently passed away. We had lots of stars pass away recently. Richard Simmons, Donald Sutherland passed away. Amazing actor. All these different people in entertainment passed away recently.
Richard Simmons.
Yep, it's pretty insane. So
Dr.
next,
sorry,
go ahead. What?
Dr. Ruth.
Who?
Dr. Ruth.
Oh, Dr. Yes, that's been a while.
That woman, I mean, she was like 90 when I was a child. So I mean,
and that was quite a while ago. Love you. Okay. Anyway, next, guys, we have Fight Like a Jedi inside the Acolytes, stunt sequences, and martial action. So, full disclosure, I have not seen Acolyte yet. And I know a lot of people have differing opinions on if they like it or not. You know, some people are very, when it comes to any of the shows, are very set in how they like the Star Wars universe. And if something different comes out, they're very against it. I don't know, so I have not seen it, so I have no opinion on it yet. But I did hear that the fighting and choreography was pretty amazing.
Yes.
Though, so I'm looking forward to it for watching the fight choreography. I love Ahsoka. I will always love Ahsoka, and I always think that's better than every other Star Wars show. But I love Ahsoka. That's why my sabers are set to white.
I will say most people, whether they like Acolyte or not, everybody's got their own opinions about it. I personally didn't think it was as bad as all the hype. Like I was expecting something really terrible, and it was much better. There were some parts. There was definitely things that I thought could be better. At any rate, one thing I think a lot of people will agree on was that this is some of the more spectacular fight scenes that we've seen since Phantom Menace. Since Revenge of the Sith. And one of the reasons, and this is not a spoiler, but the fight directors that they had on this movie, if you've ever seen the movie The Kingsman, and The Kingsman has been applauded for having incredible, dynamic fight scenes. It's the same directors or fight directors that did this. So
did they have like similar cinematography too? Because those fight scenes in Kingsman are pretty insane.
Right. And I wouldn't say it's similar cinematography, but I will say it's a lot more athletic than most of the Jedi fights that you've seen before. You'll definitely notice a lot more Eastern influence, more of a Kung Fu influence, as opposed to just a straight up sword battle.
Yeah, I saw one clip of the gentleman from Squid Game and Amanda from Hunger Games.
Right.
Doing a fight scene, and he takes all her knives or something at one point. The scene was pretty cool, and it felt very kung fu-y.
Very
it had that kind of feel to it. I did read an article that the fight choreography, like they kind of like did a style for every character.
Yes.
And based on their backstory and stuff like that too. So there was that. I liked that addition detail that they put in there. So that is your nerdy news for today. Mezzo's back with her nerdy news. Nerdy news.
Nerdy news.
I should like sing to the music. Put myself singing to it.
All right, before we move on to our next funky segment, I want to remind everybody in 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, KyberCon 4 will be happening in Vacaville, California. It is free to everybody, free to the public. It costs you nothing because, man, everything is expensive nowadays. Isn't it just nice to be able to get out of the house and go, hey, we don't actually have to pay for this event. We can just go hang out amongst people and be joyous.
Yeah, to make sure you guys get all the proper information.
August 3rd. Oh, boom. Oh, you rock. August 3rd from 11 to 5, the event will be going on. We have special guests Chris Bartlett and David Gonzalez. Both of them are Star Wars actors. David Gonzalez was in Return of the Jedi on on Jabba's barge. He was Ak Rev. He actually has an action figure, so that's kind of cool. And Chris is more of a newcomer to the Star Wars family. He has been on all of the Disney Plus shows. So any Star Wars Disney Plus show that you have seen, because I've seen his name even in Acolyte. I don't know who he was in Acolyte. I'm going to ask him about that.
He plays all the droids, right? So you can actually see in this background image, he's all of these droids. He's C-3PO as well in the Disney Plus show. And he does the voice as well. Droids. If you want to check it out, he was recently on our channel. That was the second to last interview before I took my long needed break.
We recently had him on our show, and he will be there at the shop. We also have David Gonzalez, who was in Return of the Jedi. He will be there. They'll be doing autographs as well. We'll be doing a costume contest at 2, hourly giveaways with our friends at Distance Nerding hosting the event. We have 2 cosplay groups. We have the Mandomerc Cosplay Company and Imperial Outlanders. Both of them will be there, as well as R2SC and the D Squad, which is basically droids. They're droid builders. They'll be there. And we have a comic book artist, Age Scott. Man,
and Miss Mezzo will not be there, unfortunately. That weekend they'll be in New Jersey helping family.
I feel so forsaken for you.
You'll be fine. Okay, next is our flow of the show. James Kaiser, our producer, brings us a flow every week to feature on the show. And today he actually brought us a choreography video that is from Saber Guild. So please enjoy this flow of the show. All right, that is Saber Guild. I just posted a link to their Facebook in the chat, the Saber Guild fan page, so please make sure to check that out. And full disclosure, I added the Saber sounds. Just for the fun of it.
You know, I love this. Is the first time we've ever had choreography on in this segment, in the flow segment. But I love it. I love the creativity of it. You know, it's like, even though it's just a sword fight, you've got to kind of create that story in your head of why am I angry at you.
That instead of just, you get some cinematic shots too. And I just, for whatever reason, I suddenly was like, I'm in here. And for those of you who don't know, I do pillow fort night with my kids, and every other week I'm in this room. We have a futon here. My kid's asleep, and that's when I do my editing for Saber Rattle. And I sat here like, you know what? I'm just going to chill, and I'm going to put on, I have ambiance music, but I was like, I'm going to also like throw in some lightsaber sounds in there because I've got some saved on my computer. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, why did I do this? Something else. All right. Well, it's time for our guest, sir. Would you like to introduce?
Woo, and wow, look at that timing. Almost exactly perfect. Our guest for tonight.
I'm back.
Very recently, we had Matthew Woodward from Exegol Outpost was a guest on this show, talking about his sabers and how he does so much with the saber. He does all the wiring. He sells. He added the crystal to Steven's saber, which is how we originally met him. At any rate, after that show, I got to talking to him, and there is a group that is nearby him, where he talks about a saber fighting group that he actually is a sponsor for, and he told us that we should definitely talk to these people and find out about what they're doing. I love seeing all the different groups from around the different country and seeing how they present themselves like to the audience. For example, Tony Negron's program is completely different than, say, a Lightspeed program or the Saber Legion program. So it's very interesting to see how in different parts of the country this one tool can be interpreted in so many different ways. So with no further ado, please give it up for the Houston Lothwolves Saber Academy. Arr! Woo! Hello.
What's up?
Hello.
Man, that was fantastic. That was brutal. You guys beat each other up, huh?
We stick
Just a
around every now
little.
and then.
Don't judge us.
First off, we'll go around the circle. We'll kind of introduce ourselves and talk about what it is, what we do with the Lothwolves. But I'd really like a really quick introduction to let people know what you guys are as an organization. We on this show, we've spoken with so many different fight groups in different, Saber Legion. We've talked to Charlie Cummings, Kang Snow at Lightspeed, Tony Negron, of course, over at Aiken Academy. So many people, and even actually internationally, when you think about Fazal Main in London. But so many different people have different ways of interpreting this blade or this tool. Are you guys part of any other group? Are you a part of like Saber Legion or Lightspeed, or is it your own thing?
We're actually initially we were our own thing. We just recently came back into the TSL fold, probably about 2 years now. Our last year was our
Would
first
you mind
TSL
introducing yourself, since people in the audience don't know who you are yet?
Sorry for that. My name's Kane. The guys affectionately call me Alpha. I'm the so-called worst fighter of the group, so I just kind of run with that.
Quit lying.
It's all an illusion.
Absolutely. But like I said, initially we started about 6 years ago. We were initially our own kind of like satellite group, and then we recently got reinvited back into TSL, and TSL out in Vegas was our first major event where we kind of surprised everybody because no one really knew that we were there until we all showed up, and everyone's like jerseys.
So you have were you originally like part of TSL and you went off for a while, or did you start off doing your own thing and then kind of hooked up with TSL? How did that come together? And whoever wants to answer.
Initially, when I first started the Lothwolf Pack here in Houston, we were actually a part of another group, Space City Sabers, and we had a kind of a difference of opinions on where things were going and what I had envisioned for the sport in general and the enjoyment I wanted other people to share with this, and started my own group. TSL caught wind of us. I started talking to Charlie and Jared and a couple others, and they're like, hey, there's a charter in Texas. What do you think? All right, I'm in. So we fall under Austin and another member who's up north in Dallas. Mike, Big Red. side. He's up in another location where he was running a satellite group as well. And we're just enjoying the run, man. We're just playing fun with wacky sticks and seeing where we go from here.
What's really interesting with Texas is I mean, Texas, first off, is a huge state. I mean, Texas is like a country in and of itself. But so I know distances aren't necessarily, close, but there are a number of different fight clubs out there. So there's more. I mean, if you're willing to drive, I guess there's more options than some of the other places in the country. Was there something that attracted you necessarily to what the Saber Legion was doing, as opposed to, say, I think Lightspeed has Kyber Light, or Kyber something team is out there in Texas. So I know that there's a couple different fight organizations in Texas. So you guys have a pick and choice of, which style you prefer. Was there any thought process, or was it just that you saw TSL and like what they were doing?
Yeah, actually, in a nutshell, a lot of us, myself, Big Red, we have history with different organizations like SEA, AmpGuard, Daggerfeld, stuff like that. So we have prior experience. Where Robin Jupiter has also just recently started joining up, and she's got a little bit of practice in SEA. We do have Kyberlight up north. We had another smaller group, Killzone, down south in Galveston.
Oh, wow.
There's
Kyber Knights in Austin.
Kyber Knights,
yep.
I think that's who I was thinking about, yeah.
So we all kind of like started getting together on the weekends and just overall practicing, and was like, you know what? We have the numbers. Let's see where we go. Let's compete. And I was a little hesitant at first because, all that. Well, right. Fast forward to fairly recently to Ragnarok, I ate my own words because now I have my first women's medaled competitor. Woo! And Red took home his first medal. So
wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
For all the options that we have, TSL was kind of the best fit for us.
All right.
And I think it's going to be the best fit for us going forward.
I love her soundboard. That was great.
That was fantastic. It almost startled me. Yeah. that is absolutely fantastic. So, Robin, he was talking about recently the first women's division. Were you a part of that?
Yeah. So, as it was mentioned previously, our first major competition, at least for our recent group, was last year at Combat Con, and I just went for support because, as he mentioned, I'm new to this. So we went this year, and I participated for the first time, and yes, I brought home my medal. So yeah, I was nervous, but
I was going to say, how did that feel? I mean, because for those that don't know, Combat Con is in Vegas, correct?
That is correct.
And you guys are out in Texas, so that was a little. Did you fly out there? Did you drive out there? What did you?
We flew. Initially, we were going to try and drive, but it just worked out better to fly. And so it was myself, Alpha, and Red there. And so they participated in theirs. I just was there for support. But yeah, you're talking about like the creme de la creme as our first like major competition. Wow. So a little intimidating, but we met some awesome people, Melody, Jared, and a slew of others. And it just was very warm and inviting. So it kind of got me more comfortable with the idea of competing. And of course, at least in our group currently, I'm the only active female fighter. Oh, wow. So yeah, I just thought, seeing others compete, it made me more confident. So yes, this time around, I was not as nervous. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
That is amazing. How does it feel, like, especially going out of state? It's one thing when it's like people that you've been around, or at least people in your state that you've heard of. But when you're going into something like Combat Con, where you have no idea who you could be pitted up against, anybody in the nation.
Yeah, it was that part was very intimidating. And even though after going to Combat Con and kind of getting like the creme de la creme out of the way, not everyone can attend every event. So you never quite know for sure always who you're going to go up against, or you may know, but then something happens and who you fight against. Like I initially was just going to fight in the women's competition at Ragnarok, but then all of a sudden last minute I got thrown into standards. So it was just kind of like, okay, I wasn't anticipating fighting those folks, but it was good experience. I met some wonderful people. And so, yeah, it's a big thing, but you don't know unless you get out there, and you make some great connections when you do. And that's one of the things I enjoy about this group is sharing that love of sabering with others.
Right. Red, was that your first time at Combat Con, or had you been before?
So that is my first time at Combat Con. It was my first time competing in any sort of like any lightsaber combat competition.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went there, especially like even so before we went there, when we were given the opportunity to go, he showed me like the different brackets of standards, exotics, unity. And I was like, I'm entering all of it.
Yeah.
Sign my butt up. I'm ready. And so when we got there, I did. I entered in all standards. I almost placed in standards. And then exotics, I sadly did not do well in exotics because we never got the opportunity to really practice exotics at that point in time. So
for TSO, what is it? Is that cross guards or what is that, dual?
So that's, if you could see in the background here, there's cross guards, and then there's like a pike, and then you can have like an extra big long saber. But so it kind of just had a different feel to fighting in exotics.
Right.
And so, and then when I heard Unity was like a nonstop fighting
that is Unity is for anybody that's never seen a Unity fight, that is like some insane MMA stuff.
Yeah.
I loved the crap out of it when I participated.
Goodness. You are a psychopath, my friend.
He is the beast of the group.
My friends will agree that I am. I'm a bit of a glutton for punishment.
Wow.
Once Red gets started, man, there's very little that will stop him.
Yeah.
Pretty
like
much.
The juggernaut.
He was. Yeah. He at Combat Con, he surprised everyone. They were like, "What did you feed him?"
Oh my god.
Yeah, they didn't even call me Big Red. They just called me Mountain from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a few rings I walked into, and they're like, "Man, who do you practice against?" And I kind of pointed over at Red, and they're like, "Do you fight against that?"
Right.
Yeah. Just add a little context. I'm 6'3". I'm like 300 pounds. I'm like maybe 15% body fat. So I'm a pretty big dude.
Pretty solid, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, going up against that is intense.
Right. And how is it for you, Jupiter, right? Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Since you're, the only kind of active woman, I'm sure you don't get any special treatment when you're out there in the ring with the boys. I'm sure you're just another person behind a mask.
That is correct. And for those that are new, like since it is mostly men, the ones that don't know me, I tell them don't hold back. That doesn't help me grow as a fighter. I can take a hit just as much as anyone else. And, when you're sabering, it's not about whether you're a man, a woman, you're old or young. You're out there to have fun, exercise, compete, whatever it is that you're trying to get from it. So, yeah.
Right. What is it that attracts you to, and this is going to be a question for all three of you, but what is it that attracts you to this sport? As opposed to, I don't know, playing baseball or playing basketball or any other, I guess, typical sport that you could play. Well, what is it that attracts you to this?
For me, myself, it's obviously, so growing up, I am both a Star Wars and a Star Trek girl.
It's okay to be both. It's okay. Settle down, people.
I got Star Trek from my dad. May he rest in peace. I lost him last year, but he's the one who got me into it. And then I got into Star Wars, obviously too, and always wanted to try sabering. But when you go to like events such as Combat Con, I did this last time, Comic-Con, or your anime expos and whatnot, you see them all over, but they're, if you want to get a decent one, they're not always the most affordable. So it's kind of like, that's a lot of money to put into it. Yeah, right. So after I kind of got past that intensity, like one of the things we do with our group is that we have loaner gear. So thanks to like Alpha and Red and others, I was able to kind of get a feel for what was needed. And then I just did research on my own. And so going back to that, it was just being able to be active, nerd out with sabers. Who doesn't enjoy doing that? Meet new people and just get to experience it. So that's what it is for me. Is I love the activity and I love the people.
Excellent. I'm going to go around the circle here, but really quickly, I was going to say that, from the different saber groups and fighting communities that I come across, whether it's TSL or Lightspeed, a lot of times when you find people, they're more than happy to let you borrow loaner gear, because most people, when they do this, and I'm not, you can tell us about your experiences or how you collect your gear, but a lot of times people will get what they can get, for the necessary. And then once you get that, then you get stuff more refined. You start fine tuning pieces that are more comfortable for you. And so sometimes you have an extra set of, a chest protection or an extra fencing helmet. Maybe you got something that was more comfortable for you. Sometimes you have to get stuff before you know what it is you want to get.
Yeah, trial and error. Absolutely.
Exactly. All right, going around. Why beating? Well, besides the intimidation, I don't know if you saw somebody put a message back here. Red puts the fear of God into me. I don't want to be standing across from you in a ring, bro. Not in a unity fight. Not in any fight, but particularly not in a unity fight.
So it's a bit of it's none taken. Nobody really wants to either, but I try to be as friendly as possible to bring as many opponents as I want, because I just want to fight everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. I want to fight you, and that's it. But the backstory of kind of how I got into like the sport is I played like football and ice hockey a lot when I was growing up. So like the athletic aspect of training and things like that was kind of naturally in me.
Right.
I sadly had to give it up after certain complications in college when I went to play college ball. And I found a LARP group, and a person in the LARP group came and introduced me into lightsaber combat. And Star Wars has always been a big part of my life. If you haven't seen The Room, it's there. And so when I went to try it out, I just fell in love with it. I just made lifelong friends who I've considered family along the way. So it was kind of like me finding a new identity, because that's all I had was like football and hockey in school, until I got into sabering.
Right. You take a couple of lumps together, there's nothing to bond you quite like that.
Yeah, no.
More ways than one.
All right, Mr. Alpha. What about you? What is it that attracted you so much to this crazy thing of beating each other up with glow sticks? I feel like we're gonna get some deep philosophy right now. Like
he froze.
He's thinking so hard.
This is like an album cover right here.
Yeah, it was a good album cover. Yeah.
So 14 years in the SCA, and I just kind of like slowly migrated away from it. And I've done hockey, I've done airsoft, paintball, and honestly, I never felt that kind of peace than I did whenever I put that mask on, because when that mask goes on, the world goes away. It is literally like my Chinese temple. It's my gym. It's my raver with the most awesome music. And honestly, I mean, this is the best workout tool.
It really is.
Hands down. It's very peaceful for me, because I can build up everything from my work stress, take it to the practice on the weekend, put the mask on, and it's all gone. End of the day, I'm done. I'm clear. I'm level-headed again. It's my temple. I absolutely love forward to it every time.
You know, this is not gonna be something that you guys would have like expected, but I welcome any opinions or thoughts that you guys have from any of you. Also, if this is a question that makes you uncomfortable or you don't feel like talking about, please don't feel pressure to talk about it. We can easily move on to the next thing, and I'm not going to feel hurt about it at all. But what you got me thinking about lately, we used to do a show called Hearts of Kyber, and one of the things that we were talking about, it was a show that we would show like movies and stuff like Iron Man or like, Marvel movies, but we would relate it to different medical and mental issues that people were dealing with. But we try to show like clips from like popular culture and movie and things. And I don't want this to sound, if it sounds crazy, try to feel me, I'll give you it. But when you were talking about this is kind of being your temple, I lately have been dealing with anxiety. And I had never had anxiety before the pandemic. It was kind of weird how that kind of messed with my brain in ways that, I'm an older man now. I never had experienced this as a child. But a lot of times people talk about being able to go to the gym or being able to work out some kind of physical aggression or having some kind of external need to exert their energy in order to help with their whole, not just their physical health, but even their mental health. And I don't know why when you were talking about, because I listened to everything you were talking about was in some way beating the crap out of somebody. And it seems like that is a private joy to you. And I'm not taking that away from you, but I want to understand, does that help with like a mental aggression? I mean, do you deal with aggression or something like that? Or am I crazy? Am I talking to you?
You broke him. You broke him again.
That was a really deep thought.
If you want to know the answer, yes, he's crazy either way. So
here.
It's got to be crazy to fight me.
I'm going to throw a little quick one in here, and then I'm going to let Red take over because this is more his territory versus mine. With my anxiety and my past, it does help with a lot of my frustration, and it helps cut through the static when I have my bad days. It's definitely a real thing. So anyone who tells you otherwise is completely full of it. I'm just going to say this on the record now. Even when I go to the gym, it helps cut that static down and I feel more in line. So that's my quick opinion. Totally cool conversation with me. Red, you're up.
All right. So it kind of like, how do I phrase this? All right, how about we repeat the question one last time so I can gather my thoughts real quick.
Pressure.
Would you like me to go, Red?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Van froze too.
I was going to say
he's coming back, but he kind of went over how he's dealing with anxiety and how a lot of people talk about working out and something to take aggression out, help with that, and if it helps you or whatnot.
Yeah. All right. So it honestly has helped me a lot through any personal troubles, any sort of, because like back in the time when I joined this group, I had lost a lot of my pathway to because I just thought I was going to have football and it's school, and that was it. Then when I lost essentially football, there was a very huge chunk of me that I had no idea who I was, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And then the stress of school, because I was studying mechanical engineering at the time, which I am a mechanical engineer now, but there was a lot going on at that point. And when I found this group, not just, wailing on someone that, beat my stress out or something like that, it really helped me open up more and help me through and make friends and things like that through those tough times.
Yeah, more than just like, it's kind of like the workout helps itself, but the people you meet along the way have a big impact on how it helps you as well. I don't see Van's trying to come back. His screen. Oh, there he is. You totally missed his answer.
Welcome back.
I know, dude. I've been doing this show for like 3 years. This is probably the most profound question I've ever asked on this channel.
And technology lets you down.
Yes, it helps, and the people along the way he considers family help too. There you go. There's a little summary.
Wow, great. I'll cry when I rewatch the show.
That's all good.
Did anybody else have anything that they wanted to contribute? Or I've missed the last 2 minutes. I apologize, guys.
You're good. No,
I just opened up my heart to you guys.
Oh,
no, that's okay.
Hugs, Red.
You
just drop out.
No, I was just gonna say to add on to it. For me myself, anxiety is a newer thing. It's gotten worse. Pandemic didn't help. Life situations have added to that. Like last year, losing my dad, and I lost my brother at the end of the year, or one of my brothers. So yeah, a lot of major life things. So for me, having the support that I get from having this group and these people that I consider family is huge because we're all there for each other. But also too, when you go to these major events and you're like kind of stressed out, right? Because it's a whole different mind mentality, competition, you're in it to win it, or whatever your drive is for participating in them. But then all of a sudden you meet these people and they're just so warm and welcoming and fun, and they're telling you all about their life and how they got into it, and you feel more comfortable and you're able to open up. So for me, it's a huge outlet. And then the physicality of it, being able to beat up on people, it helps. Yeah, it's I absolutely think that this is definitely something that is a good outlet for any of those mental issues that someone might be struggling with: depression, anxiety, socialization, because for some people just going outside is difficult. So yeah, I think there's a lot to it.
Right. There's so many aspects. Chris down here says bond through training. Right. It's kind of like the military, or when you've taken these beatings with other people, and you kind of like, oh, my shoulder hurts. Oh, my shoulder hurts. So you kind of commiserate with each other, and you drive to these long competitions, and you're in the car together, and you're learning about each.
Did we lose him?
And we lost the audio.
Was he in deep thought like Alpha?
He's like,
and he's back.
See, it's a good thing you're back, Marissa.
Okay,
it's like you knew.
Right. It's like my first day back. Hello. Oh,
yeah. Hi.
I have to like just further reaffirm what you guys are saying, because mental health is just such a huge thing nowadays.
It is.
And not just physical exercise, but the people you meet through it and the friends you have and support are really matters. And being part of Kyber Cave, when I came upon the channel, it was just like a happenstance thing. They lost their producer and editor last minute, and I joined 3 days before my first show.
Oh, wow.
And I met Van the day of the show and edited everything in 3 hours, and how he likes it, and explain. And next thing I know, I'm here for over 2 years now.
That's awesome.
And it's pretty great. So like I think I just reaffirm, whether it be through saber fighting or something else that you have with friends that you enjoy, that's very important. Oh, hello, Van.
Welcome back.
Can you guys hear me at all? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh. My life is so crazy. I'm so sorry.
Gotta love technology, never fails.
I'm keeping my director on her toes. Never has she been able to like
first show back, man.
Fast. Yeah, I mean, this definitely it seems like a great outlet in so many ways, especially sometimes when we're having anxiety or depression. Just being able to be around another person and not have to really talk directly about what you're dealing with, but just being able to be around another human being that enjoys doing something that you enjoy doing as well is fantastic. How big is your group that you guys have out there?
Pre-COVID, we had anywhere up to about 15 to 20 fighters on the field. COVID unfortunately wiped us out, and we've been just kind of rebuilding ever since. We have 7 or 8 right now if everybody shows up. But unfortunately, the summer heat out here in Houston, between the heat and the mosquitoes, we're kind of in our quiet time right now.
Right.
Also, with all the storms that we've had going on lately, our practice time has been kind of nixed out. Thankfully, we do have an indoor venue that we can use, but due to the severity of the storms, it's kind of hard getting out there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, is the weather where you're at, does it change very rapidly, or do you have like long seasons where it's just like hot and muggy, and then you got to deal with rain season. And
I just think of the hot version of Gotham. You never know what's going to happen.
Yes, exactly. That's a better explanation than what I was going to give.
Jesus, that's a pretty horrifying thought in my head.
Yeah, you just never know what you're going to get walking out the door, and it can be one thing in the morning and completely polar opposite the next.
Case in point with me on my end with Beryl. I woke up that morning and unfortunately I was dealing with COVID, and I looked outside, nice, bright, sunny day, birds were chirping, and within 30 minutes it was black outside.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, okay, this is how the day is gonna go. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's crazy out here.
And how do people find out about you guys? Do you like do demonstrations at Comic-Cons, or I mean, see you guys went to Combat Con, but do you go to like cons in Texas and perform in front of people, or how do you attract more people to your organization?
Initially, we're out pretty centralized in one of the bigger parks out here, so it's got a lot of foot traffic. A lot of kids come by through the weekends, football, soccer, whatever. And of course, during the day, they don't really notice us. It's those weirdos in the armor whacking each other. But once the lights go out and the sabers fire up, everyone's like, "Oh, how do?"
Right.
Other than that, we have social media. I can't even keep track of how many.
YouTube,
we have like a Facebook, YouTube,
and Instagram.
Yeah,
and we also have Discord.
Don't you have a TikTok?
We've kind of, yeah.
As for events down the line, I'm actually in the works to get a state meet going with Texas. I just got to get some things finalized, as well as doing some demos is also in the pipe. I'm just trying to get everything ironed out so we can get going, share the love of the sport.
Right. What is it that you guys hope to accomplish out there? Are you trying to make your organization bigger? Or do you guys have any interest in doing things like choreography shows, or is it strictly fighting that you guys like?
We actually do have a couple members who are interested mainly in choreography and the workout aspect of it. I would like to branch out. Do I want to be the biggest and baddest? No. My goal for the Lothwolves is to help share the love of the LED saber. I mean, there's nothing better than going out there, seeing a group of kids come up to you, arming them with sabers, and then having them chase you down, and then having them come back.
Yes. Well, and even adults, like as adults, it's the expectation that you're supposed to adult and it's boring and blah blah blah, and it's like, just because I'm older does not mean I can't go out there and have as much fun as what's expected of kids. So putting a saber in an adult's hand who has been not able to be a kid and just letting them go at it is the best thing ever.
I don't disagree. I often tell people I have the best job in the world selling combat glow sticks, because nobody ever walks away from my table unhappy. Everybody's smiling. And it's amazing when you see somebody, especially like somebody who's in their 50s or 60s or 70s, or somebody who vividly remembers going to the first showing in 1977, and to be able to hold the stick and hear that iconic buzz and just see them turn into a 7-year-old. Like, you can literally see on their face them turn into a 7-year-old.
Yep.
Yep.
Just reminds me of those the first time when we were introduced to Star Wars, right? And just it's something magical about it.
Oh yeah, right. At the beginning, I was glued from the second that hit the screen.
Oh yeah.
I was actually talking to a woman today. I was at a convention today in Sacramento, and I was talking to a woman today who, before I did this, I was a preschool teacher, and she also was a preschool teacher, and we were talking about how I'm way too lazy to actually like go out and do the research on this, but there has always been something to me. If you take a child who learns how to walk, and the child that knows how to walk, if you give that child a stick, instinctively they will treat it like a sword. I don't know why, but there is something in the human beings that we are just attracted to the sword. And I mean, what is the ultimate sword but a lightsaber?
Yeah, so true.
Yeah,
I have marked for many children who have never picked up a sword of any shape, form, or whatever. They pick up a lightsaber, and I'm walking home with welts on my legs. So I totally get it.
I mean, they instinctively know that this is an offensive and defensive weapon somehow.
And it's always
and
great
they magically find the spots too.
Kids are just good at that. So what do you guys have on your slate? Because you guys are you guys are all three in the same group, or you're in different groups close by?
Same group.
Yeah,
you're all three in the same group. Okay,
yeah,
and then you're going out and fighting the other clubs. Do you guys find it difficult to organize these other events, or is it just like is it just timing, or is there a lot of, because it's hard for me to realize the distances between your different organizations when you're fighting against another group?
I'm going to let Jupiter take this one because she's been kind of the backbone of the group, and she's the one who usually handles that.
So, I mean, yeah, it can be difficult when trying to organize these events because, like, trying to communicate first and foremost, finding others who are interested, finding locations that work for everyone. You touched on early in the intro about cost, and a lot of things cost nowadays. So when you put a sticker price on there, it can be very discouraging. So in trying to connect with other people, it can be quite difficult to do that. But when trying to set up these events using socials like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, in fact, just talking about it when I got in public, real quick story. I was at a Kroger of all things, and this lady she was walking by and she had 2 cute dogs. So that's what started the whole conversation. And then throughout it, I mentioned that I fought with sabers, and she goes, no way. And then that just started a whole conversation, and she's like, oh, what's your socials? And she just totally wants to get into it. She wants to do it just for the fun of it. Nothing wrong with that. That's one of the reasons why we do it. And that's one of the things that I love about our group is we're able to connect with different people, whether they're in it for the competition like Red is, or like for myself. Am I proud of my medal? Yes. Is it surreal that I got it? Yes. But I'm also in it just to connect with people and just to have a good time. So in order to create these events, it does take a lot of footwork, but thanks to the connections that you make at some of these events and making it accessible for folks, it makes a big difference.
Right. And anybody can get a medal in swimming or track. So how many people can say they have a medal for sabering?
This is true. Yeah, it's not an everyday medal, that's for sure.
And I absolutely loved France was the first country to recognize sabering as an official sport. And I love their idea and philosophy. They were the first ones to say, well, you know what? If it gets kids off the couch and exercising, who cares if it was a movie or something like that? It's getting kids to move their bodies and to get excited about exercise. And anybody who's done any sabering knows it is a full body workout. I mean, other than like swimming, where you're using every single muscle in your body, I mean, just standing there and, moving back and forth, your core, you're building your core, your legs, your arm, your head, everything. It's a full body abuse.
Oh yeah. The next day muscles are screaming and you're like, I didn't realize I had muscles there. Yay.
Yeah, those days are the best when you wake up and just go to the gym again after your beatings.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, that way.
What?
Nope. Yeah, that one there. I was like, he keeps moving around. That one there is a beast. He will, yeah. I mean, I love a good workout, but I also like my muscles to have their downtime.
I'm going to jump in here and throw them under the bus real quick. So when we were getting ready for a Combat Con, it was our first event. This fool was at the gym 2 to 3 times a day, 2 to 3 hours. He would still go to Saber practice or whatever practice he could go into. Wake up the next day and repeat it. He literally did this for 4 or 5 months straight. Something like that.
About probably more like 4. Yeah.
That's just abuse, bro.
And please note, I'm sadly not in Houston anymore. I'm in Austin, so like I trekked all the way to Houston to go practice with them as often as I could.
How what is that distance in time?
It's about 3-hour drive.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah.
So I take a weekend as often as I can, and we would go practice with them and be with them and stuff like that.
So when Red comes down, we officially call it the Red Day, because once we hit the field, we are fighting nonstop. It's not
Nonstop.
like
Red
community
Redemption.
intensity. It is
Redemption.
red
Yes,
day
that's
all
good.
day.
Yeah, I don't stop fighting until I'm done, and that's usually after 3 or 4 hours of fighting straight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, that is.
He is a
Do you
beast.
guys have visions of traveling to like I think isn't there I'm not 100% versed, but I think like the southern states have like a big festival that they do once a year, a big fight that they do once a year, don't they? Like I can't remember what it's called. But I know TSL has regional things where it's like southeast division and the northeast division, things like that. Do you guys have any anticipation of traveling, not just to Vegas but to other places?
Combat Con was kind of like the big one for me. I know at the end of the year is usually a lot of the big events for TSLs. I'm looking at their calendar. I mean, there's Kyber Open in November. I'm kind of debating going. There's the Open Crucible in January back in California, my home state.
Go
And
California.
then it's going to be up to the rest of the guys. We all kind of like round table and decide, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. Where do you want to
Right.
go? And we just see where the Sabres take us.
Yeah. I mean, it would
Right.
be nice just to, try different levels as well, because obviously we kind of, at least for most of us, jumped off the cliff into the big old competition of Combat Con. So,
Right.
there are other different levels of competition, some ranked, some not. So, it would be nice to explore a little bit. And, for those who want to do the combat and get medals and ranked, they can, but also let them know that, hey, there are other events as well that you can do where, you're just going to learn flow or, just
Yeah,
get out
right.
there and meet new people. So,
Yep.
that's what's kind of nice about having Red, even though we were sad when he moved up north, up there, because then it helps expand our group and hopefully bring more people to the joys of sabering.
Right. Well, I think there's a lot of people that once they find out that this is a thing and really know. I see it all the time because we go to cons and we sell sabers. People not even being aware that these things exist, and now that they know they exist,
Yeah.
and now that they know, wow, that now there are people that fight with these in competition. Their minds are
Yeah.
totally blown. So
Oh
I
yeah.
wish you guys nothing but the best in your growth.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Yeah, we're
you.
looking forward to it. We've made a lot of progress over this last year, and we just look forward to what the future holds for us.
Excellent. And is there anything that, as a group, that you would like to manifest most in the next year? Be it maybe growing the group, or finding funding, or being able to go to competitions that you haven't gone before? Is there any big overarching goal that you guys have in the next
Red.
year or so?
I know we probably have different goals, but we have one, general unity with the group. But mine is in particular, I would like to go to more competitions. I enjoy the combat sport, and I love competing. I don't know, that competitive bone I've had from all my years of sports and the fighting adrenaline. I don't know. It's something that just can't be explained, and that's something I like to try and go do more of.
Right. What about you, Alpha? What are your thoughts?
I would actually like to grow the group. I'm all about seeing the new faces and the masks. If you're in Texas or you like the Saber, come out wherever you are. We're waiting. I've got the spare gear. Even if I'm back in California, I have my spare gear.
Yep.
Um, Competitions, it's a bonus for me. I just want to see how well I can do. Till I can't Saber anymore, I'm going to keep going, no matter what. So
Being an
that's
old
my
man
ultimate
with
goal.
dentures, like your cane is a saber.
Oh, absolutely. I could fight Florentine. I could do this. I may be old. I'm not disabled.
Jupiter,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts? What would you like to see within the next year or two happen with your organization?
For the group itself, growth. I'm on the same page as Alpha. I know all the hard work and stuff that both him and Red, because they're kind of like the older, more foundational part of our pack. And Yes, you are the elders of the group, but the elders that are esteemed.
You just called the old man. That's what it is.
But no, I mean, for the group is growth, because the amount of growth that we've had so far is phenomenal. It would be nice to see, more diversity in our group, both men and women, old and young, experience. And then for myself, is just continue to get more confident because I don't have previous fighting experience like a lot of the folks in the group do. I have band and I have softball. That's the majority of my curricular activities. And don't get me wrong, the guys have seen the softball come into play when I do my sabering. And then a few have fallen to that. But that being said, I look forward to growth and making new friends and just really bringing out the love of sabering, because at the end of the day, it's just such a joy, and just the difference and the change that you see in people when they're not stressed out or not worried about what other people think, it's huge. And that's, to me, the biggest gift that you can get from that.
Right.
And this is
it is truly a gift that keeps on giving.
Yes, absolutely.
Protect the berries. I want to thank all three of you. Alpha,
there's a story behind that, Alpha.
I'm kind of scared. I don't. This is a family show. Yeah.
They censored it in their own way.
Jupiter, this is on you.
I'm sorry, I missed it with all the joys. What was?
If you're going to go into that story, if we have time, that is on you.
Otherwise,
I'm going to leave it alone.
Protect the berries.
Yeah. So if you watch one of our videos, and I can share it in the chat when we're done with this, but the whole thing, Protect the Manberries, is so I played softball, and one of my regular stances is when I Florentine, because that's what I'm more comfortable with, although I do standard single as well, I will tend to line up and swing. And so there have been a few times where that swing lined up just enough with the Manberries on some folks, and they went down.
I can see
guys for a reason.
And that's why cups are so important in TSL.
Oh yeah.
And that's why and that's why gear is important. Just to touch on that real quick, is that there's the fun of it, but yeah, absolutely, at the end of the day, we want safety. We want our own members to have fun, walk away with 10 fingers, 10 toes, and gear is important. And that's a prime example of why.
Right.
Yeah, just talking on the safety, I pretty much don't let anybody on my field unless they have adequate protection on, period.
Yes.
If they're not, they're using buffers, and that's even monitored, just because anybody can get crazy and you can still do a lot of damage with them. So you're protected when you're on our fields.
Yeah. And I'm usually the one breaking into newbies because they usually don't know how to control their power. So it's a lot.
Yeah, I feed them to red and then I deal with them.
It's like the little baby cobras. They don't know how much venom they have until they learn.
Exactly.
That is a
good example.
Well, guys, Lothwolves, I want to thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure to talk to you.
Absolutely, right back at you.
Are out in the Texas area, particularly in the Houston area, or are willing to make a long drive, please check them out. Oh, there they go.
Here we go.
You can reach them on every single platform.
This is a family show.
You can reach them on every single IP you can imagine. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you guys, and
same.
You guys have a beautiful night.
Thank you.
You too.
We'll get out there and fight.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Come on down.
California.
Yes, come out to Northern California. We got our business.
Well, that was enjoy. Yes, they when they mentioned the berries, I had the wrong person on. Sorry, James. There. No, go. I can't hear you. Wait. Hello?
Difficulties. It wouldn't be Saber Rattle if we didn't have
on your side. So gosh, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I love how you and I wore our merch, they were theirs, and it was just like that we did not.
We're all cool and silent.
Yes, if you're watching the playback of our video, you can check the description in the channel below that has all of the links to their YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can check it out below. I also did put them in the chat a couple of times during the show. So thank you very much for coming on the show. Very much enjoyed listening to all their perspectives and even touching on the mental health chat. We actually, Hearts of Kyber has not come back after its extended break currently. Maybe we will come back at some point soon. I didn't know people actually watch it. Somebody told me they were like, I guess our last episode, they were like, that was a really weird episode to end on. And I was like, wow, people are actually watching this. So for those of you who are curious about we were actually having content every day of the week for a while, and one of the reasons we scaled back is just the time to if you don't realize the time to do a YouTube channel, the time it takes is a very long time. Just for me editing for Saber Rattle and doing the work I do in Saber Rattle is probably about 4 to 5 hours a week just for that show alone. So it can be a lot. And if you're doing stuff every day, and I was editing for like 3 or 4 shows at a time, it can be really hard. And so when things sometimes have to be scaled back until there's more support. So if you do want to see more of Kyber Cave Productions, head over to our patreon.com/Kyber Cave Productions, and do that. Yeah. Night Vision, we actually did Anxiety.
If you would like to help out too, if you have any editing skills and want to help out with the show, we're always accepting people that want to learn more about what we do.
Yes, we would give you, if you want to edit for us, what the way I'd be kind of the person deciding, I think, for sure, but I would give you some raw footage to edit and see what you can do with it. It's kind of how I would approach it. But Night Vision Anxiety was actually one we did, like Anxiety and PTSD was actually one that we covered before. I'll see if I can find it.
One of our first ones, and I was actually really, really proud of that one because it was one of the first topics that got John and I originally had the idea to come up with this series and talk about different things that are affecting different people. And at first it started as a mental health series, but then we started getting into different body ailments. But we always try to relate it to public media. So we always try to find a movie that you might have recognized that had elements of whatever in it. And Anxiety was one I was really proud of, because it was, I remember specifically we did Iron Man 3, because in Iron Man 3, he has anxiety issues.
Yes, he has some PTSD anxiety issues stemming from the New York attack that happened in the first Avengers movie. So yeah, it's a great show. It was a lot of fun. It was a really good amount of editing. I was doing a lot. So if you do want to, if you are interested in being an editor and would like to talk to me about it, go ahead and email me at kybercaveproductions@gmail.com. That is the best way to get in touch with me when it comes to anything that has to do with Kyber Cave Productions. So definitely interested in that. All right, so moving on, we have a new segment for you guys. So Kevin Hogan, who has been our producer. Oh, and by the way, congrats on 100 Days Plus. Wait, is that what?
Oh, is that for
congrats
me?
On you. Yeah. It says
I haven't smoked in like over 100 days. I think that's what that's about.
Yes, that's freaking awesome, dude. I said a bad word because I
used to be a hardcore smoker. That's not a good thing, kid.
I used to have issues with my old PC glitching all the time, and I ended up buying a new one because I had to finance it, but I was tired of my issues I was having. Anyway, so Kevin Hogan, who was a producer for a long time on the show, who was I called him a convention connoisseur, who would do a convention report for us every weekend.
He's actually in Britain right now.
Yeah, he is. And he's been a dynamic duo, also says, congrats on 100 days. So we have actually, he's been on an extended break for quite some time. Not sure when he'll be back. He can take as long a break as he needs to. So when our people need to take a break to explore other avenues, we encourage it. So we have a new segment for you though called Guess That Saber. I need some music for it. I need to find some music.
I think we should call it Guess That Glow Stick.
Goodness gracious.
Guess that Glow Stick. We're totally biting on Pokemon. I don't want you thinking this is like an original idea.
Here is, who can guess what that one is?
I think this one's pretty easy. Let's see who gets the first. Oh wow!
Oh, you already got it. They already got it.
Bam!
Wait, I might have spelled Dooku wrong. I thought I Googled it, but I don't know.
You really destroyed that. That's
shut up. Shut up. I bet nobody probably noticed in the opening that I misspelled a word there too. No one.
You know what? Probably nobody did, but that looks like Duck You.
You know what?
That's like University of Oregon.
Duck You, Van. Duck You. For
Yay to the Lothwolves.
For shame on me.
All right, as the series goes along, we'll have more and more challenging sabers. That's just to whet your whistle as to what you might see in that segment. God. And you know what? It's a great way to kill 3 more minutes.
I love it. And say Snoop, duck all of us. Duck you and duck you
all
too.
Of you, and duck
everybody.
And duck
for you. Yes, I'm going to quote Oprah here. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to us. Again, if you want to check out our guest information in the description below, you'll see all their links. You can see the links to the Nerdy News and to the Flow, the link to their Facebook page as well. Don't forget to check out Retro Alcove, which is every Monday. I'm not sure if Graveyard is on a break at the moment because he is actually filming a movie. Yeah, he's making horror movies. And so he's out and about doing that kind of fun stuff. He was actually filming till like 4 a.m. the other night. Yes, we do. See, Mitchell comes back. Kevin goes on vacation. Kevin's been on vacation for like 5 months. He's been gone for quite some time. Yes, we're happy to have you guys.
Please like, comment, and subscribe if you have not subscribed to this channel. And remember, every 100 subscribers, we give away a free saber. We just gave away like a $600 limited edition weathered Cal Kestis saber to our 2000th winner just last week or week before? No, the week before. Mm-hmm. So remember, somebody's going to get these sabers. It may as well be you, right? That's what I always say.
It may as well be you. If everyone who wants to know about the saber rules, you cannot have one in the last 6 months, I think it is, and you cannot be an employee of Kyber Cave or Kyber Production. So I'm kind of both. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to us. Don't forget to tune in next week, and you'll see a preview for that guest coming up this week. Have a wonderful evening. We'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
Adios.